There was one year we went to Newport Beach for our high school camp, and I had a parent I had never met call me to give me a little background on her daughter who had never been to a Christian camp, let alone stepped inside a church. But her and her daughter had found themselves in a place where they were not only willing to try out church, but I would say they were desperate for it. You see, this 16-year-old girl had recently returned home from rehab because of a cocaine addiction. And she was in agreement that A, she had a problem, and B, she needed a higher power to help her survive. And so, on this phone call, her mom proceeds to give me her backstory only to finish and say, so she wants to come to camp, but she can only make it if she can smoke. Like she absolutely needed her nicotine. And so it was the first year I had a smoking section at high school camp. Not just simply to support her fight against cocaine, but more importantly, so she could come to know Jesus. Give us a little history on like your life, like specifically happy upbringing moments, like memories that you have as a kid that are special.
I had a great childhood. I mean, my family was great. Everything was good. Grew up Christian from day one. So we started going to Cornerstone. I'm not totally sure if it was when I met Clyde, but I like to believe that. So I went to elementary school, didn't know anyone, but I had this camo stretchy watch. Only one other kid in class had the same watch, and that was Clyde Kurtzer. So I came up to him and I was like, hey man, I like your watch. And he said, I like your watch. And he had this gallon bag of goldfish. He just goes, you want some goldfish? I was like, I absolutely want some goldfish. So ever since then, we just became buddies, and our parents met, and then they introduced us to Cornerstone, to all the great people here, and we just never stopped coming. I had always been incredibly close with my brother, and he had always been my role model in life, and just kind of my guy, you know. I believed in God, but it was a hard concept to grasp, so my brother Marcus had kind of become my leader, and it took a turn when 8th grade going into freshman year, he left the house and moved out to New Zealand for a YWAM experience, which was life-changing for him and a great experience, but it kind of left me stranded and alone at home. I felt isolated and alone in life and didn't really know where to go or what to do. So coming into freshman year, I had experimented a little bit with different friends and different people and different things, and I found a belonging to substances, and I found a filler and an escape, and really I found a way to become the person who I wanted to be. I had started slowing down at middle school and youth group, and really started focusing my time towards unhealthy relationships, and it got to a point of which my abuse had become so detrimental that I ended up going to rehab. Didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. Life had really just come to a halt. I was 15 years old. I had had a year and a half of high school with no identity in who I was, until the day that I had kind of become sick of acting and trying to be someone else, where I asked my dad, who has always been just an awesome guy and a great person, and I asked him, like, why are you the way you are, Dad? Like, why are you so cool and so nice and you just love everyone? And his answer was pretty simple. It was just, I don't know, man, I follow God. So I just started praying, and that's where it began. I just started praying every night. Was still not who I wanted to be, and for the next year and a half, I prayed and tried to read as much of the Bible as possible and talk to people and just love and not judge and just find out what was me. And then through Christ, I started to feel more confident in who I was and started to see the person I could become and the options I had in life. And I think at that point, things started to really change, and I started to make real friends, and I started to want to do new things, and I started to love everyone. So I made a decision to return back home 2.5, 3 years into rehab, and I decided to sign up for this lake trip the high school lake trip. At this point I was a senior, and I decided to just try it out. I didn't really have much more connection at church. I was pretty scared to see, or to have people see me again, because of kind of the way I had left, and just, you know, they knew who I was before, and I was pretty nervous to go back and show them who I am now. But coming into youth group, I mean, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Every single person just so happy to see me and smiling like I had never left, or like I had never done anything bad. At that trip, I got re-baptized, but it was the most touching experience of my life, being in the water and coming back up. And it just felt like all of the sins and heartbreak I had brought on my parents, and the lies and the deceit had just gone, and it was literally starting anew. I think the Cornerstone Youth Ministry, and this is full honesty, is almost an exact replication of God's love. And I didn't think it could happen. I didn't think I could return home after my mistakes and my wrongdoings and people still look at me the same. But the minute I walked in that door after not seeing their faces for 2 years, it's like none of it mattered. It was just instant hugs and smiles and, "How are you doing, man?" And "It's so good to see you." And even something like that just like made me feel so loved and just so secure, man. Like, it was just a life-changing experience.
We want to be more than just an after-school program or retreat center for high school students. At the end of the day, Cornerstone Youth Ministry exists to help our students know that God is real, that His love is real and can be known in the life and death and resurrection of Jesus, and that they won't ever truly feel alive until they've tasted and seen this love. And not just that, but also choose to love God in return.